How does Spain stop Lionel Messi? How do Argentina score against Spain? They don't concede. Who will win the World Cup final? Well, we're going to try and work it out by looking at what we think might happen in the game and where both managers might try and find advantages, strengths and weaknesses. Who are the stars? Who are the battles? If we look at Spain first, they are definitely the favourites. They've got the best defensive record of any team, and they've got absolute control. This midfield of Fabian Ruiz, we think he'll play, Rodri and Dani Olmo is the best in the entire tournament that we've seen so far, but the entire team is exceptional at keeping the ball, especially against a high press. So if you want to try and press Spain high, all they do is they drag players around, create space, make sure that someone else can drop in, and they ping it around. So if you try and press them high, it's really hard to do. And so they play through your press, they get all the way to the opposition half, and they keep control. So you get to these sorts of positions here, you keep Yamal wide, you keep Baena here. You got Cucurella making underlapping or overlapping runs, depending on when he needs to do it. You got Porro doing the same, maybe more defensive in some situations, but what you get are like wide triangles between amazing players who understand exactly what the other person's going to do. And crucially, you have Oyarzabal, who is the number 9, but also loves to drop in. And oftentimes what you'll find is the centre-backs have no one to mark, which becomes confusing because if someone like Oyarzabal drops deep, you drag someone with them, and then you get a little triangle over here, and someone gets in behind to try and get chances on goal. And this is what Spain can do. They work it, they find little solutions, 1-2s everywhere, the opposition can't get close to them, and that's kind of how they defend as well. They don't just defend against the ball, they defend with it. And defensively, also excellent as you'd expect. They're amazing at pressing high, they go man-to-man, show the ball the way they want it to go, win the ball back, and then they just keep it even further. That's why they have so much of the ball, but they do things with it. Now, some teams have found ways to stop them, because they will horse you, like we said. You can stop them for a certain length of time. And if that happens, that's when someone like Mikel Merino turns up. You maybe take off Oyarzabal or Olmo, something like that. And then it just turns into classic old-fashioned football where you get the ball wide, you put the ball in the box, and Merino crashes to try and get a goal out of it. And the players behind him will be there to try and get the second ball as well. So Spain kind of have absolutely everything covered and sorted, but also there's an innate understanding between all of them that they've had since they were very young, where they all know where they're going to go, who's going to move where, who's going to open up the space. It's really, really hard to mark them, it's really hard to press them, it's really hard to sit off them. They're the favourites, by far. Now, Argentina are very, very different to Spain. They don't play this kind of positional thing that they do. They do a lot of relative stuff, relationist stuff. So they get lots of players close together, so they have lots of connections. They can ping the ball about. They make the pitch very, very narrow and compact. Almost all the width comes from fullbacks, but in-game and game-to-game, the manager, Lionel Scaloni, changes things quite a lot. We saw against England, Giovanni Simeone came on. He was able to get up and down quick and make a lot of runs in behind from there. That's what they've got. And later on in that game, they bring on Gonzalez, can play on the left, so they can change it and add width if they want to. They've got good options off the bench too. But the star of the show is Lionel Messi. And the weird thing with Messi is that when he plays, he doesn't do any defending whatsoever. You often see him up this sort of end here. And so most of the team does the work in a 4-4-1. Alvarez does a lot of the running about here. You've got players who try and make it nice and compact. And the other weird thing about Argentina is that they tend to be better when they're losing. It's maybe not a perfect situation to be in, and yet they keep doing it. But there are specific things on both teams where both managers will target strengths and weaknesses, and I'll show you what some of those are now. For example, number 1, Argentina can't really press Spain, both because they're too good at playing out from the press, it's too risky, especially in the final, and also Messi's going to be doing this the whole time, wandering back in like we said. And number 2, Argentina's weakness is in their wide areas, especially at fullback. So Spain here will have Alex Baena playing probably. If they had Nico Williams, I think they'd get a real benefit out of it, because as Switzerland found, if you take on a fullback 1v1, often you can beat them. So this is one of the goals that Argentina concedes against Switzerland, and Doy's on the left side here against the fullback. And all he's got to do is just wait for his teammates to come and help him out, pass inside, run in behind, there's a little bit of space being pulled apart by some clever movement, and he gets in here. This is where teams will target Argentina. Well, this is where Spain will target Argentina in the final. England tried to do it with Gordon down the left-hand side. Other teams have tried similar. Egypt, for example, focused on the right-hand side, trying to run at them around the side of it. Because they put so many players in the middle of the pitch, the space is really in the wide areas, and that's where they attack. And that suits Spain down to the ground, because if I show you another goal that Spain score, well, this is Fabian Ruiz on the ball, passing it wide to Pedro Porro. Now, you might remember an example I showed you slightly earlier on the tactics board, where the wide triangle rotates and moves to try and drag players around. This is what we saw against France. So you've got your wide triangle here. This is the 3 players. You've got Porro, you've got Oyarzabal, and you've got Lamine Yamal in the wide areas here. Now, what happens is Porro wants to try and look for the next pass. You've got the players just holding the distances. They're trying to look after individuals. They're man-to-man with them, so they can't, they can't get on the ball. That's what the theory should be. But there's a secret thing that happens here, because Porro fires the ball in and runs in behind, and you can see that the defender is right and tight to Oyarzabal, so it's absolutely fine. However, that's not where the ball goes. The ball actually goes in here. It's a really clever disguise. And because Oyarzabal is dragging the defender with him, whether he knows this is happening or not, it's hard to tell. But Dani Olmo does the same thing, drops in a little bit, and there'd be movement from the two forwards for Spain against Argentina. So Romero and Martinez will have to work out whether they want to go with them and stay tight or not. Because when this ball goes in, this player has then dragged the defender out of the way, which means Porro can run straight through. The defender can't just like double check and then go and block the space to try and stop him, because he's been completely fooled by this disguised pass. He's in behind, and Porro scores to put Spain further ahead against France. But there are weaknesses in Spain as well, even though they've only conceded one goal. And the weakness is going to be, as you might expect, Lionel Messi, because everything that Argentina do, everything they do in game and change tactics is all built around getting him on the ball. Now, if Messi's in this sort of situation and Spain are defending nice and compact, he'll find it very hard to get on the ball. That's what's happened in a lot of games. And so what Messi's been doing, what the manager's been doing with him, is bringing on different players later on. Say Lautaro Martinez comes on, they can play a two up here to try and keep them busy in the last line. Someone will come off, let's take Paredes off, for example. I'm just sort of doing this hypothetically. And then what Messi tends to do is wander into wide areas, because if you're wide, if you're hugging the touchline, you can't really leave someone marking him on that wide area. That's not what really happens, because then Tuchel would have to go out and stay with him, which would create too much space in between. Maybe you can go to a back three, but as England learned, that's not a really good idea to do against Argentina. And so what then happens is that Messi stays free, he can receive the ball in different situations, and then they start getting their wide triangles going, someone they'll push out with them, and that's where they're formulating a lot of their chances. A lot of Argentina's chance creation, especially when they're behind, especially late in games, is on this right-hand channel. They get into the ball here. Messi, sort of, you'd expect him to be here, put the ball into his right against England. That's how he scored one of them. But a lot of them is him or someone else moving inside, trying to put the ball into the box here. The other thing that Messi will do, that Spain will be very aware of, is that he likes to get the ball in these situations, then try and move into space once the ball's been passed on. So again, no one's following him because he's just left the space to go and wonder where he thinks the ball should be. He starts often in these situations here, and then he just looks to fire a ball, immediately runs towards it to chase, and in this wild chaos, remember they've got all the players close together to have connections, the ball just sort of pings around and eventually it somehow drops through to him like it's like being out of a pinball machine, and he ends up inside the box. That's the other thing. But the thing on the right hand side, this is really relevant, and I'll show you why. Observe the only goal that Spain conceded in the entire tournament so far. This is Belgium are playing against them. On the right hand side they've got a wide triangle, and they're trying to force with a little one touch ball in behind to get the player free on the right hand side. Spain, they're not really well organised here. They've been caught just slightly out, but this is where they are pulled apart. This is the only time I've really seen it in the whole tournament. They've not really had many chances against them. Ball comes in from the right hand side. De Ketelaere gets ahead of his man to score. Is it a Spain error? Is it something there? Not really. It's just that this is the one time Belgium managed to create something against them, and the only example that I can compare to what Argentina regularly do. Because if Spain are sitting back, Argentina will try and work a way to Messi, try and get the ball into the box, and they'll look for these crosses into the box. This is the only weakness I've found in Spain. And so then what you also get is, if you look at one of Argentina's goals, this is them playing against Egypt. They're blocking them. They've got loads of players along the last line. Again, we learned that's not a good idea against Argentina. But you see Messi pulls out to the right-hand side. When he can't get on the ball in central areas because they're blocking it out, he moves wide to where the space is, and he starts wandering after that. And Messi, all he has to do is just receive the ball, looks up, and then what you're supposed to do as a defender in this situation is go tight. You immediately go to him, you curve your run, you get straight to him so he can't go past you. But it's Messi. Everyone is scared that he'll just nip the ball past him, skip past you, and you're out of the game, and then you're in real trouble. So what a lot of defenders do is stand off him. It kind of makes sense. That's what happens. He has too long to think about it. Which way is he going to go? Against England, he dragged them all down the right-hand side and crossed it in with his right to set up the goal. Against Egypt here, he just waits his turn, hit the ball into the box, and they score. So this is what you have. Argentina can win this game against Spain, but it's all about Lionel Messi. If he's able to get one of these moments, and he always does, they'll be fine. But it's more likely he'll get those moments when they're losing. But Spain, if they take the lead, will be able to protect it because they can protect the ball a lot better than what England did. And so if they take the lead, it's very unlikely that Argentina will get back into it. And so based on all of this analysis, I believe the winner of the World Cup will be either Spain or Argentina.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Amy Lawrence and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insights on every Premier League story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football, and you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.